When I was working as a lawyer on the Champs-Élysées in Paris, looking cheap wasn't an option. And I saw extremely smart women be completely disrespected because they did one or more of the things I'm about to show you. And the first one is big eyelash extensions, because although eyelash extensions can make your eyes look very feminine by opening them, if you have too much of them and too big and too long of them, then you're quickly gonna leave the feminine realm to enter the vulgar realm. They obviously are not your real lashes. What that sends as a signal is I'm underconfident. I'm not happy with my natural beauty. From a professional perspective, that's going to make people trust you less because you're sending that vibe that you're not confident. And from a more seductive male gaze perspective, it's going to send to men the little subtle signal that you're maybe easier to get because you are less confident and less grounded in yourself. You're gonna see as soon as you let go of those very long eyelashes that are unrealistic, you're going to get more attention and more positive response, both professionally and seductively. The second one is big lips with big contour and a lot of gloss. When we're looking to look expensive and the way it's going to be perceived by other people around you, you're trying to emulate the old money kind of expensive. So the kind of expensive that has been around for many, many years. This kind of expensive is a very understated, discreet kind of expensive, as opposed to the aesthetic that we see a lot on the internet, which is the more new money kind of expensive. What you're expected to do is to show by so many means that you've made it, and it's created in opposition to the other one. If you use the big lips with the contouring and the lot of gloss, which is from that new money aesthetic, you're sending the signal right away that you belong to that social background and that social class, and you can't then pretend that you're from that other social class. Instead of choosing a contour that's very visible, choose a contour that has almost the same color as your lips. And what you can take as a reference is the inner part of your lips here that is slightly darker. And if you like a bit of shine, it's better to use a lip balm than a lip gloss. The lip balm is going to give that healthy shine, whereas the lip gloss is going to give more of a plasticky, sexy vibe, once again connoted with the professional kind of sexy. Third one is a very cakey foundation in the wrong shade. First, because it's going to break that illusion that we're really trying to create when we are looking to look expensive, of effortlessness, that this is naturally what your skin looks like. If you want to do your foundation the expensive way, look at your neck color so that there is no difference between your face and your neck. I find always better to go to brands that have a very wide offering in terms of shades, and when you try on the shade, to not try it on under the light from the store, but under a natural light. So ask the person, if someone is helping you, to just step outside and see with the mirror if the match is actually a real match. So when putting on your foundation, it's better to put a little bit at the start and to use a bit more in the zones where you need it. And if you find that you look way too pale after putting on the right color, don't worry. You're supposed to be adding the relief of your face with your bronzer, your highlighter, and your blush. And don't try to hide all of your imperfections, because that's the part that looks artificial and fake. It's important to keep, if you have a bit of freckles, if at some point you have a pimple, well, you have a pimple, that happens. And that's going to make you look more expensive and more confident than if you try to cover everything. And the fourth one might surprise you, but it's laminated eyebrows. And I know that in a more American-centered culture, laminated eyebrows are the perfect way to look clean and polished and expensive. From a French perspective, they actually look too fake, and then they fall in the same category as the fake lashes or the fake lips. And then if it's really poorly done, so if, you know, the angles are way too sharp, if it doesn't match your face and it looks like it's a stencil, if the color is off, then it's really gonna cheapen your look, because not only does it look fake, it also looks like you don't have that sense of aesthetic to make it look pretty. Dye your eyebrows if you find that they're bit too light. Shape them and maybe have a pro shape them or teach yourself how to shape them properly and comb them. And you also have the option of just filling them up if you need, which is what I did today, for example. And then if you have very thin eyebrows and you would like them to frame your face a little bit more, then you can go with a bit of lamination together with your natural eyebrows. So just like if it was a little correction, a little extension of your natural eyebrows. And then if you really need to tattoo some eyebrows on your face because of some walk of life or that's just the way things are, then pick the person who's going to do it with a lot of care, because it's that person that's going to make it or break it for you to look expensive. Next one is a squared or stiletto kind of manicure with a chunky French, flashy colors, or a lot of nail art. So it's a bit harsh, but if you want to look expensive, cultured, and coming from that very rich background, you can't have too much fun with your nails. The shape of your nails have a connotation, and the color or what you put on your nails have a connotation as well. When you pair them together, for example, short nails with red, you have something that is understated with a bit of sexy. So that works. And if the rest of the outfit is not sexy, you're just gonna have the little tweak of sexy that you might be looking for. And the nail art has more of a childish, gimmicky kind of connotation, which is not what we're looking for when we want to look expensive. So if you want to play it safe, short or short almond with a nude is always going to make you look expensive, and it's always going to elevate your look. And if you love nail art, then an accent nail can be a good way to show that you have a bit of a quirky side while staying professional and respectable. Number 6 is an overly sweet perfume. That's a mistake that I've seen a lot. And that applies even if the perfume is expensive, because very sweet, like candy-like smells, connotes little girl. When you're using, as a grown woman, that kind of smell, you are making yourself seductive by connoting with that kind of youth. How was I supposed to know? So if you want a scent that is more expensive smelling, then florals are going to be a safe choice. The more sweet notes in that perfume, the more you're going to go back to that little girl. So that might be something that you want to use, but use it really at small doses. And so the expensive way of doing perfume is to not leave a trail behind yourself and having people turn around just like if you were in an ad. The subtle way and the expensive way of doing perfume is to only let people who are close enough to you guess that you're wearing perfume. And so that's why you're not going to put on a lot of perfume, so just one spray and walk through it. Something else that you can do is to just spray a little bit on your under your wrist, so that you can go like, excuse me, and then someone just smells like, ooh, oh, this woman is full of surprises. What is more with her? And alternatively, what I like to do is to put perfume here. In the movement of doing la bise or hugging, the person can guess that you're wearing perfume. Number 7 is green marks from oxidized jewelry. Because although there's no problem in buying cheap jewelry at H&M or whatever, you're not gonna see, when it's new, you're not gonna see that it's just crap. But after some time, it's going likely to leave green marks on your neck or around your ears, and that is going to give away that you were wearing crap jewelry. Number 8 is the mistake that I saw the most made, and that is to wear pilled clothes or clothes with pet hair on them. Because sadly, even if the piece of clothing was actually expensive, as soon as it pills or as soon as it has pet hair on it, then it's going to look like a cheap piece of clothing. It's also going to give off the vibe that you're more neglected than you actually are. Luckily, there's a very easy fix for that. And for pilled clothes, the first one is to use this little shaver that you can just use on top of the clothes to remove the pilling, or the pills, the bouloche in French, from your knitted clothes. And the other one is this little comb that you're just going to use on top of the fabric, which is going to also strip away the bouloche. And then for cat hair or dust in general, the magical sticky thing on your coat, at least before you go out the door, is going to make a big difference, because cat hair, even on a Max Mara coat, is going to cheapen the Max Mara coat. Number 9 is overly elaborate hairdos, because it breaks that illusion of effortlessness that we're so trying to achieve. The impression that it gives is that you need to be seen, or you think that without this whole thing here, you're not going to be good enough. And that once again conveys the idea that you're not confident in your natural beauty and in yourself. Instead, it's the easiest in the world. Make it look like it's just clean, it's just healthy, and it just has gotten a cut recently enough that it doesn't look like you can't afford the hairdresser, even if it's your mom or your sister doing the cut. And then number 10, kind of kept the best for the end. Even if you do all the things that I've just expressed right, but then you do these wrong, it's gonna ruin all your efforts. And that is attitude. So the first thing that you should be mindful of is fidgeting, over-explaining, and seeking approval, both in your way of speaking and in your energy. An expensive woman is not only confident in her physical attributes, she's also confident in her intelligence. So she knows that what she's going to say is going to be interesting and relevant. So there is no anxiety in her as to whether or not she's saying the right thing. If you're underconfident, the best thing that you can do while you build that skill set is to be quiet, because that's going to calm down this fidgety need that you might have, and it's also going to portray you as someone who's very composed and someone who doesn't speak to say nothing. And then finally, the least probably intuitive way to look expensive is to not be too contrived. There is this idea that if you're expensive, you're necessarily very uptight, that you don't touch your hair, that you move in just a certain way, that your shoulders are always down, that you never slouch. Real expensiveness has a huge element of confidence in it. If you need to remove your hair from your face, remove your hair from your face, you're not going to be like, shit, just don't move, don't say anything, you have to look composed. That's the worst that you can do, because it's trying hard and it looks like you're not comfortable. So it looks like this is not your environment. If you had a good time with me, I invite you to subscribe, and then I will see you very happily in the next one. And in the meantime, have a great one. À bientôt!